First we got the bomb, and that was good, 'cause we love peace and motherhood. Then Russia got the bomb, but that's okay, 'cause the balance of power's maintained that way. Who's next? France got the bomb, but don't you grieve, 'cause they're on our side, I believe. China got the bomb, but have no fears, they can't wipe us out for at least 5 years. Who's next? Then Indonesia claimed that they were going to get one any day. South Africa wants 2, that's right. 1 for the black and 1 for the white. Who's next? Egypt's gonna get one too, just to use on you-know-who. So Israel's getting tense, wants one in self-defense. The Lord is our shepherd, says the psalm, but just in case, we better get a bomb.
In return for Hitler's guarantee of world peace, Chamberlain and Daladier prevailed upon Czechoslovakia to give up the Sudetenland without a fight. In Britain, a happy Chamberlain came back declaring he had achieved peace. Peace in our time. One of the most tragic and ironic scenes in all history.
This morning, I had another talk with the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler. And here is the paper which bears his name upon it as well as mine.
Mandrake, do you recall what Clemenceau once said about war?
No, I didn't think I do, sir, no.
He said war was too important to be left to the generals. When he said that, 50 years ago, he might have been right. But today, war is too important to be left to politicians. They have neither the time, the training, nor the inclination for strategic thought. I can no longer sit back and allow communist infiltration, communist indoctrination, communist subversion to sap and impurify all of our precious bodily fluids.
Bomb, 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 why bomb Iran? Why bomb, bomb, why bomb Iran? Bomb, 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 why bomb Iran? Bomb, 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 why bomb Iran? Bomb, 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 why bomb Iran? They got rockets and Russia, China, and the tanks bomb Iran. Bomb, bomb, why bomb Iran? Why 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 bomb, bomb, why bomb Iran? They got rockets and Russia, China, and the tanks bomb Iran. Why bomb Iran? IAEA says no, no nukes there, but we're good to go. Bomb Iran, bomb, bomb Iran, bomb Iran. They got rockets and Russia, China, and the tanks bomb Iran. Bomb Iran.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. Welcome to this, the 50th episode of the fastener industry's most daring experiment in on-demand new media. Yes, we're appealing to the avant-garde of the industry here, the true fastener aficionados out there. And if that's you, or if you simply just dig fasteners, well, we're glad you've clicked in. Eric Dudas here, and the co-host of Fully Threaded is here with me as always. He's the frequently vexing, but always amazing, Mr. Brian Musker. Doing all right, Bri?
I'm doing fine, thanks. But I'm now a little bit confused. I'm not quite sure who I vex.
Well,
there could be these people who struggle trying to understand my accent. That's sort of possible. I'll just say I have, despite the fact that I have this weird accent, I have lived in the US for just on 30 years. And losing an accent is clearly one of those things that's not natural.
I don't think anybody's asking you to do that, Brian, and I understand you perfectly.
I know. I do have trouble with a lot of people.
Nah, it's vexing in a very good way. So why don't we just leave it there for the moment?
Okay.
Well, can you believe we're already at the 50 episode mark, Bri?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? I can remember in the early days when we were saying, well, should we go and do this? And lots of people were saying, no, it's a big waste of time. Why would you do that? There's no one in the fastener industry even knows what a podcast is, let alone how to listen to it.
Well, I think the jury's still out on that one.
Impossible.
But if you're keeping score at home, folks, March 18th, 2010 was the first episode of Fully Threaded, and I think we've come a long way since then. Actually, the earlier episodes were a little rough, a little choppy here and there, although we had some great guests, but I think we have come a long way.
Right, we're having a little trouble with the sound. I guess everyone starting off on podcasts has a little trouble with the sound, and we've regularized that a little bit now.
That's right. Who knows what the next 50 episodes will bring in terms of our leap forward. If you're interested, folks, go out to the fastenersclearinghouse.com website, and on the news page, there's a story that ran in Fastener Technology International magazine back on September 30th, 2011, and there's a PDF of it, and there's some of the background about how we got this whole fastener fandango off the ground, what we're trying to do, and all of that. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Now, would you consider this, though, the new 35? I mean, they say 50 is the new 35, or is it really not a birthday? It's just an episode. But how do you sit with that one, Bray?
I'd actually prefer to think that something a little bit older than 50 might be the new 35, actually.
So do you think the translation to episodes and birthdays, we got a little bit of a parallel here to discuss?
Yeah, it's a fairly sloppy and rather large window, actually, that translates to 35, I think.
Yes, well, for those of us rapidly approaching the early stages of middle age, I can completely see where you're coming from on that. Now, if you want to look at it a little bit from a different perspective, of course, in dog years, this would be like episode 132 or so.
Oh, yeah, a lot more, isn't it? Isn't it 1 year's equivalent to 7 years?
Well, like you were saying, it's kind of a sloppy calculation, so.
Okay, right.
Well, it's a momentous episode, that's for sure. And we have a fitting lineup of guests for the occasion, this being episode 50. And we're publishing on August 23rd, 2012. Our featured segment today is an encore conversation with fastener industry legend, Mr. Ron Sackheim. We covered quite a bit of ground during this discussion with Ron, getting his thoughts on the after effects of the Heads and Threads meltdown, and then turning to the timely subject of the Olympics and Ron's role in the 1984 Summer Games. We also listened as Ron described his current situation, how he's doing, and how he approaches the daily battle with Parkinson's disease. We were honored to have this conversation, and I know you'll enjoy it. Also, we were able to talk to one of the true rock stars of the fastener industry on the show today, as Stelfast president and NFDA and Wi-Fi board member, Simmi joins us from her home base in Toronto. She shared some of her thoughts on the recent FDI numbers and the upcoming Vegas show. There's lots of excitement these days over at Stelfast, and you'll hear why as Simmi explains. And we asked her to divulge the color of this year's Stelfast monkey. Did she spill the beans? That's coming up moments from now, folks. Plus, the ever-focused Mike McNulty has the Fastener News Report for us. His top story on this edition looks at the nationwide expansion going on right now from Texas-based USA Fastener Group, and he talks with Mike Weaver from that company to get the details. Also, don't miss the back page report, especially if you're a tweeting, beer-drinking fastener lover. There's a new hashtag out there if you fall into this category, and Mike explains that on today's edition of the Fastener News Report.
And just as a slight correction, I'm not sure if anyone in Toronto calls their city Toronto. I think it's Toronto.
We'll have to ask her about that one, eh?
That could be true. Good, eh?
The title sponsors on today's edition of Fully Threaded Radio are Stealthfast. For service you deserve and people you trust, it's Stealthfast. Based in Toronto, eh?
Toronto.
With locations all across North America. And Beacon Fasteners and Components. Check out their line of machine screws, folks. Their expanded line's getting lots of attention from the industry these days. Beacon Fasteners. Nice threads. And thanks also to all of you for tuning in and listening to Fully Threaded. We sure do appreciate it. You know, these last several episodes in particular, we've seen a real leap in the audience, and that's such a good feeling. I think a lot of that is due to people really just sharing this with their friends. I mean, and I think this is kind of an organic thing that's happening in terms of our audience, and it's very much appreciated, that's for sure.
So you'd think this is like the social media thing. This is how it's meant to work, really.
Well, that was always the idea.
You're right. Yeah.
Now, like everything else in life, though, you know, it takes a whole lot more than you first thought. So, but not that I have any regrets about it. It's just good to see it all kind of unfolding now.
Oh, you mean unfolding versus raging ahead?
Yes, or as J.R. Prow would say, the tour de force.
Yeah, right.
And regardless of what your opinion on all of this is, or maybe you have a new way of describing it, please share that with us, and you can do so at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. We're also out there on Twitter under the handle Fully Threaded. If you're a Facebook user, we're still one short of that 100 like, which is going to propel us into some unknown but glorious territory. So jump on that one if you could, and get on the Fully Threaded Facebook page to see some of the supporting links for the show. We like to footnote some of the things that we do, some of the audio that we borrow. In this case, at the top of the show, I think we had some pretty interesting cuts in the montage. You can check all that out on the Facebook page.
And either our numbers are completely wrong, or only 2 people ever listened to us in our last show, both of which I assume is not correct. Since after our begging and pleading, to try and work out how we get over 100 likes, okay?
Right.
That I've noticed we went up by 2.
No, it went up by 4, actually, Bri. We picked up 4.
Okay, so 4 people listened.
See, we doubled our numbers right there.
Right, that's good. You're right. Good.
And now we're counting like the Congressional Budget Office.
You're right, yeah. If we had 4 listeners on a show, I think we probably would give up and go and do something else.
That's right. And I think due to this show, we've probably saved at least 500,000 jobs.
Possibly. But they didn't really do that by themselves. Oh, sorry, wrong speech, isn't it?
The roads we travel on these shows. People wouldn't believe it. Well, the social media is a great tool for doing all that sort of thing, and it is a little fractal. You wind up in places that you never thought. I actually got wind of a conversation that was happening out in a LinkedIn group, and it was a LinkedIn group for the Wi-Fi organization that's women in the fastener industry. And there was a rumor that I heard, and I got some confirmation on this. Those of you who know Rosa Hearn, the regional manager out west with Bright and Best International, may have heard the rumor that there's a little Hearn on the way. And I got an email from Rosa confirming that it's true.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, she said in this email, yes, the rumors are true. I'm having a baby, my first one. I'm due the early part of January, so basically I'm 5 months pregnant.
Well, congratulations to Rosa.
Absolutely. And of course, this being 2012, she's got a website for this occasion.
Well, of course, why not?
Yeah, the kid's probably already got a Facebook account.
Yeah, I would think so. And Twitter.
Get out to rosajamesbaby.ourbabychannel.com, and you can follow this along. I suppose it's going to become more dramatic as we get closer to the big day. So Rosa says she's going to be out in Vegas and hopefully at the Pat West Fall Conference as well. But, you know, as with all pregnancies, you kind of take that as it comes, I think.
Right. Well, I look forward to seeing her there anyway.
So those of you who are still doubting the benefits of social, there you go. We're the people who bring you FastenersClearinghouse.com, folks, the FCH sourcing network, and we hope you'll get out there anytime the need comes up. if you're looking for a hard-to-find fastener item or you're just looking for a new source perhaps. It's a great database. Recently, we passed the 750,000 inventory line level, which is kind of another landmark. They're piling up on us here, Bri. And,
right.
It's free to use, and we hope you'll get out there. The website is www.fastenersclearinghouse.com. Bri, I know you've been doing a lot of work, as you always do, in various areas, and you've got kind of a new window opening with the FCH network, and, man, we're really reaching to the future with this one.
Yeah, right. Well, this stems back a couple of years to a phone call I received from Dan Zender from Trinity Logistics. And he was trying to work out how he's on the road and he wanted to be able to search for some fasteners. And it got me thinking then about how we could use an iPhone to search for fasteners. Well, that has sat and I've worked on parts of it, but we've now actually started releasing in sort of limited mode an interface for an iPhone or for a mobile phone, which allows you to search using a much more simplified text-based search that passes through to the scrubber and allows you to manage your source finder inquiries and the inventory inquiries. Part of this is still experimental. We'd be very keen to receive input from any of our members who might be interested in using this, and we'll direct you to the interface. We'd be happy to receive comments on ways we could improve it, things that you'd think would be really useful. And at the moment, we're experimenting with a slightly easier form of inputting the dimensions that you're looking for into it, by basically talking into your phone and having the scrubber translate your text into the sizes, okay?
Well, all the consultants and all the propeller heads out there are saying that the trends in computing these days are moving in a big way towards mobile. We're embracing that. We have in mind several different pieces of functionality that are going to support FCH members in particular, and how you handle those inquiries. So the front end of that, of course, is the whole searching mechanism. And if you have a smartphone and you hit the www.fastenersclearinghouse.com website, you're going to see some of the early versions of all this stuff. And again, your input is very welcome. So,
yeah, we think, in general, the mobile devices are termed as iPads and phones, but the iPads and the Android tablets really are closer to a computer, okay? So the phone is a different thing because it requires a completely different interface.
Well, I'm looking forward to some of the things you come up with next on that, Brad. Keep us posted, okay?
Okay, I will.
Got an email from Vicki Lester over at the Pac West and the NFDA. She gave me an update on Janine Christensen. Some of you may remember that earlier in the season, it was Memorial Day weekend, I believe, she was involved in an accident, hit by something or other on her bicycle. It was pretty bad, and the update is that she's doing pretty well. Vicki said Janine's doing great, still in physical therapy, but is not supposed to lift anything more than 10 pounds. However, she was able to handle the Fastener training week in Cleveland at the end of July, so that's very good news.
Okay, good. Well, we all wish a very speedy recovery.
That's right. Sounds like she'll be out in Vegas at this rate, so look forward to seeing Janine in person. She's a great asset to the Pat West, and I'm sure coming up to the NFDA as well. And hey, Bri, of course, our home of Fastener Association is the Midwest Fastener Association, the MWFA. And got a note here from Matt DeLauder, MWFA president. They've got a dinner meeting coming up here. Folks in the Chicagoland area will probably want to jump in on this one, kind of a change of pace from what we normally have at the dinner meetings. This one's taking place on September 20th. It's out in Elk Grove Village, Illinois. And they've got a guy from Homeland Security, particularly the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Division, ICE. And this ought to be pretty eye-opening.
What's he going to talk to us about?
Well, there's a whole array of potential topics, Bri, and some of these kind of delve into the more exciting than we usually have at some of these meetings. Like it says here on Matt's note, crimes involving importation, smuggling, counterfeit, evasion of duties and taxes, anti-dumping violations, that sort of thing, as well as intellectual property rights issues. So who knows where this thing could go? It's kind of going to be like an TSA investigation. It could go right down anybody's pants at any time. We don't know.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure that I do not turn up with any fully threaded T-shirts and start a big ruckus at the dinner, okay?
Or at the very least, wear clean underwear.
Right. Or John Butler doesn't stand up and show the room a fully threaded T-shirt and ask everyone else if they've got theirs.
Yeah, he's always good for a laugh, sometimes at your expense, Bray.
Right.
Well, you can get more details on that if you're interested in attending at the MWFA website, and that's at www.mwfa.net. I should point out that the MWFA is also running an education course also in September. It's happening on the 13th in Elk Grove Village, Illinois. It's their Introduction to Fasteners seminar. I've attended this. It's very well worthwhile, and you can get details on their website about that as well. And for $250, MWFA members get a full day of course instructions. If you have some people that are newer to the industry, or if you've been around for a while and you really still don't know anything, like, well, I won't say it, but it's a good course, and you get a certification at the end. And I'll tell you, their cancellation policy is second to none. So check it out. That's coming up on September 13th.
Yeah, I remember you raved about that one because you went. That's the course you went to, isn't it?
Yeah, Rich Pease and Tom Anderson were heading that up. They've got great instructors. They've got some other guys who jump in on that as well. It's a valuable day and well worth it. Another training option for folks is, of course, the Fastener Training Institute. And we mentioned Janine Christensen a minute ago. She's very, very active in that. She's one of the driving forces behind the Institute. And they've still got a couple of courses coming up here in the season. Fastener Quality Assurance is coming up September 11th. Then the Fastener Testing course is coming up October 16th. All the details about these courses and the Fastener Training Institute can be found at their website, which is www.fastenertraining.org. And one of the great things about this outfit, and these are the guys also who have the Certified Fastener Specialist certification that a lot of people in the industry know about. You really get to deal with some top talent in the industry. Carmen Bertullo, he's one of their great instructors. Joe Greenslade. There are several others, but these are the top guns in the industry, and the Fastener Training Institute is something you seriously want to consider if you're looking into fastener education.
Yeah, that's true.
And on the topic of top guns in the fastener industry, we have one of the best known in the business with us right now. She's the head honcho over at Stelfast. Simmi, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Good, thank you. I can always count on you for the best introductions, Eric. I think I'm going to make you travel with me for whenever I speak places. No one does that as well as you.
Well, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, right.
How's your summer going, Simmi? We haven't talked to you for some time.
Oh, it's been fantastic. It's summertime, so when you live up here in Toronto, you enjoy it, the fact that you get up in the morning and the sun's shining, and you get home at night and the sun's still shining. So it's a wonderful time.
There you go.
Right.
So you might have been following the FDI, the Fastener Distributors Index. I wanted to see if you'd been watching those numbers, and we had a little bit of a summertime lull. It looked like in the last set of numbers that came out, we dropped for the first time below 50. I was wondering if you had a thought about that.
Well, first I want to make a comment about the fact that I think that it's great that these numbers are compiled and they're tracked, and it gives something for the industry to take a look at. I know you're sort of in the infancy of doing this, where it's new, and I'm sure that you're tweaking it as you go along. But I think it's great that it's something that you guys have started. With regards to summertime, I think that traditionally everybody expects summertime to be a little slower.
Right.
In our industry, because there's a variety of industries that we support, there were some industries that were slower this summer, and there were some industries that were actually on the growth side this summer. This was the first time where the automotive companies didn't shut down in the month of July, where they normally do shut down. So we saw a little bit of growth from places like that, I think, around the country. Even with regards to employment numbers around the country, one of the things that was talked about was the fact that in the automotive industry, in the manufacturing side of it, there were employees who were brought on to keep these companies going through the month of July. So I think there was definitely some growth in some sectors, but traditionally July is slow. And on top of that, probably one of the most popular conversations out there is the fact that in the current economy, at least in the United States, there is some uncertainty with regards to the political situation and what's going to happen in the upcoming election.
Absolutely.
So I think because of that, it's expected that there would be a little bit of a decline. What we're hoping for is a small decline over the summertime that starts to ramp up a little bit. I don't think you're going to see it shoot through the roof in the months to come, but it'd be nice to see it gradually start to climb again.
Yeah, that's true. Just as a question, we normally discuss the business climate in the US, but you have operations in Canada and the US. Do you see a difference in the outlook in the US and Canada?
Canada is a completely different being in how it's gone through a lot of the economic changes, especially living in Toronto. Toronto, you look around and all you ever see are high-rises going up. The residential and the commercial real estate markets have stayed very strong. The automotive industry has stayed strong. Canada has a lot with regards to new immigrants, people investing money into the country, as well as the fact that the houses and the apartments and all those types of things, they're owned by the person who's living there. So because of that, we didn't really have a lot of the bubble that the United States had. So you still see construction everywhere here. And that really fuels it. When you go out to Western Canada, we have the oil fields out there, which obviously drives a lot of growth as well.
Right.
West Coast has always stayed very good, very busy, lots of immigrants, lots of growth. Eastern Canada is probably the area that suffers the most with regards to decline. But otherwise, I would say Canada has stayed fairly strong. You don't hear of the uncertainty here with regards to forecasting sales and growth as we look to the future.
Man, we should think about creating some kind of a pipeline from up there. No, that'd be stupid. That'd be dumb.
But the only difference is, in the United States, you sell millions upon millions upon millions of a product, and up here you sell thousands. Population's much smaller, consumption's much smaller, but more stable. So I guess it's just a matter of whether you want a lot or whether you want the stability.
Right. Huge difference in volume there. Well,
yes.
What about Stelfast? Now, we heard some pretty exciting news earlier in the year. You opened a new branch on the West Coast, and then a whole slew of new product lines were added on. What's happening with the business, Simmi?
Well, we've been busy. We've been listening to our customers, understanding where the needs are, and understanding where they need support for them to continue growing. It's still, and I hate to put it back out there again, but it's still sort of an unknown market and an unknown future. So our job as importers is to really make sure that we provide as much of a foundation as possible to support the distributors so that they can continue to grow, that they can go after new contracts, support existing customers. So it's really been out there and asking, what do you need? Where do you need more options? And we've taken all of that back. We added a location on the West Coast, which helps us service those customers because there was a push for more options on the West Coast, and it was the right time for us to do that. We also have taken a look at our product line. We've been in the past traditional nuts, bolts, washers. Customers really wanted options for the screw product line. We've brought in a whole range of screw products now that we supply on a regular basis, and we've done very well with. We've been very successful in pushing some of the cap screws as well, grade 5 cap screws, grade 8 cap screws, and really providing good quality cost alternatives to our customers. So it's just been bringing all of that back. Our anchor product line, there's just been so many, which has been fantastic, and our customers have all been very supportive of it. So it's been a really great experience for us. And our company today, when we take a look at our line card, when we take a look at our product listing online, is completely different than we were as a company, even 3 to 5 years ago. It's amazing.
Right. Folks can take a look at some of those new products out on your website, which is www.stelfast.com.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to see a lot of the customers out in Vegas as well and have these conversations, show them the products we've got, go through the line cards, and really sort of educate them on how much StelFast has changed, because it has been pretty dramatic.
Oh, absolutely. And at this time of year, all roads do lead to Vegas. And what has StelFast got lined up for the big shindig this year?
It's the same thing we try to do every year, which is really get a chance to meet the customers, spend time with them, thank them for their support. We also use the opportunity, because we bring out so many team members, to get to sit down with our team, brainstorm how things are going, plan what we want to keep doing in the future, pool all of our information as to what we've heard from the marketplace, so we use it for that as well. It's a great opportunity to get to see a lot of people face to face that you don't always get to see face to face.
Right, I had a great time at your booth last year. I remember, I spent like an hour in there. I don't think I even talked to half the people. Unfortunately, Brian, I don't think you made it over there. Have you ever seen the StelFast booth?
I haven't actually had a chance to do anything. You're the one that spends all your time gadding around, and I man the booth.
Well, that sounds like my job. My job is to basically stay put in the booth the entire time. I think the last hour of the last day they permit me to leave and walk around.
It sounds a bit like me.
And by then, all the T-shirts are gone. You're probably stuck with maybe a few crummy refrigerator magnets, Oh,
I don't even attempt to bring things home from the show.
Well, on that subject, I've got to ask you, that's something that the entire industry is really building up suspense over, and that is the color of this year's coveted StelFast monkey. Are we going to maybe get a hint? What color is it going to be this year, Simmi?
I can pretty much guarantee that you won't.
Oh.
But I can let you know that in the next couple of days, the monkeys will be boarding their ship, and we'll be having them ready to give out to all the customers and people who stop by once they come down to Vegas, and they'll get to see the color while they're there. But the monkeys have been a really interesting journey for us at StelFast, I have to say.
How many years has it been now?
Well, I think we've lost track now. Pretty soon I think we're going to run out of colors, too. But it's been many years, and the first year we did it was one of those years where it was, let's do it. We wanted something that people could take back, be it to their office, to their kids, to their houses, whatever they wanted to do with, but something kind of fun to take back, to just make the show a little bit more fun and lighten it so it wasn't all business. And everyone loved it. The one thing we don't have to worry about bringing back from the show in Las Vegas are monkeys. That is something that we always seem to run out of while we're there, so we're hoping to have a little extra on hand this time.
Well, everybody has a little bit of fun out in Vegas, and the monkeys are one of the reasons why. Hey, it's great always talking to you, Simmi, and we sure do appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us. We hope you'll feel free to talk with us anytime.
Always happy to. You guys do a great job. It's a nice listen to learn about the fastener industry while listening to you guys, but still have a lot of fun doing it. So it's really quite enjoyable. I
sure do appreciate that.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Fully Threaded.
Brian and Eric, Fully Threaded Radio. It's Fastener dog-approved talk radio for the fastener industry.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to StelFast. Since 1976, StelFast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at StelFast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact StelFast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. StelFast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting fastenal.com today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2012 Beacon Fasteners have arrived to redefine the notion of superior engineering. See one and behold the ultimate synthesis of form and function, style and substance. Hear one as the head turns with inexorable force. Touch one and feel the fire-forged steel standing in stark contrast to the sleek and graceful lines of the body. But to drive one, to drive a 2012 Beacon Fastener is to experience a harmony of power and performance that surpasses all expectations. At any speed, at any torque, each 2012 Beacon Fastener model offers a level of handling unparalleled in its class, a feat made possible by the knowledge acquired through rigorous and systematic test driving, conducted at our own industry-renowned proving grounds, nestled in the heartland of America. And with the 2012 model year, we proudly introduce the newest high-performance addition to our lineup, the Machine Screw Series. Call toll-free at 800-669-2658 for your own private consultation with a Beacon representative and learn a whole new definition of performance. The 2012 Beacon Fasteners have arrived. Drive one today.
Hi, this is Andy Pels from ScrewCrew.com, congratulating Eric and Brian for 50 awesome episodes of Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, back with you on the Big DIN 975.
For those of you who are not into metrics, that's a threaded rod radio, okay? Now, you know, just from talking to Simmi, I was going to suggest, I actually spent 6 months. I lived up in Toronto, and that's when the people told me, this is how you pronounce it, because I went there calling it Toronto. I said, nah, Toronto.
Well, with your thick Texan accent, I'm sure they understood.
At the time, there wasn't too much Texan in it. I'd only been in Texas for about 3 years then. Now, of course, it's a very heavy Texas influence on my accent.
Well, one way or another, you always get your message across, and it was really interesting to hear Simmi's take on the FDI. I'm glad that she's watching what we're doing, and it's always encouraging when we get the input of some of the real industry heavyweights on how this whole thing is being rolled out.
Right. And, you know, it is interesting. We've discussed this a fair amount. But there should be a sort of a leveling effect of the master distributors over the ordinary distributors, because their purchasing is in different cycles. You know, it's, as Ron Sackheim said, I think, you know, the master distributors are sort of buying 6 months in advance. So it's an interesting calming effect on the index, I think.
Yeah, good point. Well, as time goes on, we will talk with Holden Lewis, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot of commentary. So, hey, folks, we've got the Fastener News Report coming up momentarily. That, of course, is being presented by Volt Industrial Plastics and Fastener Technology International Magazine. But I'd like to, as always, thank our title sponsors on today's show, and they are Stelfast and Beacon Fasteners and Components.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks also to every one of you for checking out Fully Threaded Radio. We've made it to episode 50, which we're calling, I guess, really episode 35, to make ourselves feel better.
And just to confuse everyone else.
But either way you take it, we sure do appreciate it. Here's Mike McNulty.
Thanks, Brian and Eric, and greetings to all the Fully Threaded Radio listeners out there. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. Now, Ohio may be in the heart of the fastener industry, but out here in the northeastern part of the state, we are getting focused on football. The Cleveland Browns beat up on the legendary Green Bay Packers in a practice game last week. The Ohio State Buckeyes are back in the top 20, and high school football stadiums will be turning their lights on this Friday night for their home openers. But do not fear, my fastener friends. In between the games and the tailgate parties, I plan to stay focused on the fastener industry. In today's top story, we're going to find out about expansion plans at the USA Fastener Group. In addition, we have some newsmaker headlines from Annixter, General Inspection, Penn Engineering, Smith Fasteners, Tacoma Screw Products, and the Elgin Fastener Group. We also have a fastener-friendly story about beer on the back page. We'll get to all that and the USA Fastener Group story right after this.
Volt Industrial Plastics is the source for all your high-quality plastic fastener needs, and customer service is their #1 priority. With almost 1 million fasteners in stock and same-day shipping on stock items, Volt Industrial Plastics carries inventory so you don't have to. Volt manufactures everything in-house from over 125 different materials, and they're proud to say 100% of their products are American-made. And of course, custom tooling and in-house bagging is available. Contact Volt online at www.voltplastics.com. Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners.
Hello, my name is Anne-Marie Hoftailing with the Hoftailing Group, and I am pleased this year to be working with PacWest Fastener Association to help its members have its best business year ever. My company is focused on sales and business development, and together we're going to help the PacWest Association members increase their bottom line through unique workshops, webinars, and yes, even some private consulting time. So make sure that you are engaging your membership benefits. Come to the events, enjoy the workshops, log on to the webinars, and give me a call, because this year we're going to make sure you have the most powerful sales force you've ever had.
Mike McNulty.
The USA Fastener Group is based in Houston, Texas, and it boasts over 100,000 square feet of manufacturing and warehouse space, as well as more than 100 years of fastener industry sales experience. It is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year with an expansion program to take the company national. To get details on the plan, we talked to Mike Weaver, USA FG's operational manager. Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining us on the Fastener News Report.
Oh, you bet. First off, let me start off by saying thank you for having us on the show. We're truly excited about the opportunity to expand our network of customers. It's a joy to be here and actually get an opportunity to talk to you guys today.
Yeah. Glad you can make the time for it. So the news we hear coming out of Texas is that the USA Fastener Group is going national. What can you tell us about the company and your expansion plans?
You bet. From start to finish, when the company started up basically 10 years ago, this company sort of started out in the back of a pickup truck. It was a vision of a couple individuals that have put this company together, and we've come a long way since then, and truly have no plans of looking back. We were established in 2002. We've got a continuous vision on growth. We forged ourselves in the Gulf Coast region down here as a recognized leader in the fastener industry. We've been able to accomplish, this through an outstanding assembled sales staff, from top to bottom, top-notch manufacturing facility. Through extreme dedication, we are here to provide the highest quality customer service and support that we can offer. 2012 will prove to be a very big year for us. With the decision to go national, we have, throughout this year, been adding key personnel in key positions. One such individual many of you will recognize is Deborah Douglas. Deborah was brought on board as USA's Business Development Sales Manager in the Midwest region. She's been a wealth of knowledge in assisting the company in establishing our name nationwide. In addition, we've also been able to accomplish this with the assistance of several manufacturing representatives located throughout all four corners, and including Canada. Such reps including Jackie Ventura up in the Northeast, Karen Artizone out in the Southwest, Will and Bill Wardle out of the Southeast, and Jean-Luc Perret out of Canada. Not only to mention the number of jobs that we've created locally to help boost the economy in our local community, such jobs, clerical positions, shipping, receiving, inside sales, sales support, manufacturing, and also engineering and quality assurance support as well.
That sounds pretty good. So it's actually an international expansion as well as a national coverage.
It really is. With slight adjustments that we've made, we do have a few customers that we've been doing business with in Canada, and having said that, we also decided to make that slight expansion up into Canada as well. There's an awful lot of business going on up in that region, in that area, and there's no reason why we can't get a piece of it.
Absolutely. I understand that on site you guys have a lot of manufacturing capabilities in addition to your distribution efforts.
Absolutely, we sure do. As this company has continued to grow over the 10 years that we have been in business, we have been adding additional machinery on, be it CNC machining that we've got, CNC milling. We do a lot of drilling on material as well, tapping oversize for galvanizing, for Teflon coating, anything like that. Also, all of our sawing operations that we've got several saws up and online, being able to cut studs, bolts, anything that you can think of to the specified lengths that the customers are requesting, along with machine style chamfering and everything to give you that nice quality, good finished part look. Threading operations, cut threading, roll threading, all of those are offered. And our newly established hot forging operation for all of the fastener related products as well.
That is a lot of options, and I think we recognized several years ago that a lot of companies are doing both the manufacturing and distribution in one company to give to meet the needs of their customers. So that's a good thing. That sounds like a good thing that you're doing there. And also, I read that you have a lot of different coating options that you offer for the fasteners to provide corrosion protection.
We sure do. Being located in a large industrialized city such as Houston, Texas, there are obviously several facilities down here to help offer that additional service to us and to be able to support our business the way we need to. Specific coatings, the PTFE coatings, the Teflon coatings, the Xylans, the Fluorocoat 1, the FC1s, the IMF 3Ws, just to name a few. Going into some of the platings, your CADs, your yellow CADs, your zinc, your yellow zinc, hot dip galvanizings, mechanical galvanizings, all of those type, and then, also getting into some of the other specialized coatings as well, or platings, the dacromets, the chrome finishes, the Cermaguards, certain things like that, all help assist us in doing the business that we need to do.
Now, I read that you have something called the Emergency Call-Out Program. What is that, and how does it work?
Yes, we do. Our emergency call-out program, it's basically a 24-hour, 7 days a week call-out program that we offer to our customers. Our emergency call-out program was established to better assist our customers in desperate situations. Especially in this region down in the Gulf Coast area, business does not stop in the evening, on the weekends, or the holidays. And for that, our customers have grown accustomed to our program. Basically what it is, if they need something, we're going to get it for them. And at any given time, day or night, 24 hours, 7 days a week, our customers can contact our main office, leave a message. Our system, in turn, will contact one of our representatives within the company, notifying them of the message. That representative can then make contact with the customer to establish the nature of their emergency and begin the process of getting them what they need and when they need it.
That's good, and that's important, especially in critical applications.
Absolutely.
Now, Deb had also told us that you guys, in part of your expansion and reaching out nationally, is you're going to be exhibiting in Las Vegas this year, and I was wondering if you have anything special planned for the show.
We sure are. This is going to be our first year at the show. I personally have attended the show several times, very familiar with the show. But we are extremely excited to get out there and sort of let everybody know that's going to be at the show what we are about, what we can offer, what services, what support that we can offer to our customers. We do have a couple tricks up our sleeves, but I don't think we're going to let that question mark right out of the fishbowl just yet.
Well, that's a good idea, because it seems that other folks do the same thing in Las Vegas, have different giveaways or different promotions, and I think it's one of the things that makes the show interesting. And we'll be out there as well, and we're looking forward to meeting you guys in person, as well as I'm sure a lot of our listeners are.
Absolutely. Well, we're definitely looking forward to it, and we're definitely looking forward to what the future has to offer.
Very good, Mike. Thanks for joining us, and good luck with your expansion.
Again, thank you very much. We definitely appreciate the opportunity.
That was Mike Weaver of the USA Fastener Group. Next up, today's top fastener newsmaker headlines. Annixter, the global distributor of fasteners, wires, cables, and other small parts, is constructing a new $10 million building as part of its corporate headquarters campus in the Chicago suburb of Glenview. Annixter says that the annex of its corporate facilities is a reflection of the company's overall growth. General Inspection of Davisburg, Michigan, has announced a large sales contract with an Italian fastener manufacturer. The contract includes 6 GI 360 sorting machines, all with GI's new axial view camera, and 2 machines with eddy current. Penn Engineering in Danborough, Pennsylvania, has launched the PEM-Spec app, available in the iTunes Store for a free download. This new app is designed to work on an iPhone or an iPad, and it lets users access critical installation data for all types of PEM fastener products. Smith Fasteners has paid $1 million for 9.5 acres of land in Charleston, West Virginia. The company's president, Jim Smith, says that it's too soon to say when and if the company will be building anything on the new land, but Smith Fasteners is landlocked in its current location with around 50 employees, and it wants to expand in the future. Tacoma Screw Products is building a new $2 million facility in Spokane, Washington. The new location will be a full-service fastener distribution and sales center, starting off with a staff of 6 people. And our top newsmaker headline is that Elgin Fastener Group in Batesville, Indiana, has appointed Michael A. Wilson to the position of Chief Operating Officer. Wilson brings more than 20 years of experience in various aspects of manufacturing and management to EFG. He retired from the United States Army National Guard with the rank of Sergeant First Class Intel NCO in 2005 after 21 years of service. Wilson will be applying his knowledge of lean manufacturing and continuous improvement methodology to EFG's various operations, which include 7 fastener manufacturers, a metal finishing company, and an international sourcing and engineering division. Finally, let's turn to the back page for a report on beer. In honor of the 50th episode of Fully Threaded Radio, as well as visions of Old Rusty Bolt, I decided to talk about beer on this back page. I've been in this industry for over 15 years, and it is safe to say that beer is an integral component of the fastener industry. People like to drink it, talk about it, brew it, and as I am finding out on a first-hand basis, take pictures of it for posting on social media websites. If you are active on Twitter and belong to the fastener industry, then you might be aware of a hashtag called Beer Cam Friday Nights. The idea started out after I traveled to Germany last spring and felt inclined to post pictures of the various German brews that I was checking out after long days of focusing on fasteners. Different versions of alt beers from Dusseldorf were the focus of my first use of my beer cam, as were local brews from some subsequent trips. Thanks to some fastener folks who are active on Twitter, especially John Butler of K&L Sales, the idea has grown into a weekly event. The beauty of hashtag BeerCam Friday Nights is that anyone with a smartphone and a Twitter account can participate in the project, either as an observer or as an active participant. Beers appearing recently include Molson Golden, Dos Equis, Corona, and some local Wisconsin brews. Another fastener hashtag worth checking out is FastLink, which also is active on Fridays. So here's a toast to Fully Threaded Radio episode number 50. Look for future beer camp posts from me on Twitter My handle is @McNulty_FTI. This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International, bringing you the Fastener News Report. Remember to send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at McNulty@FastenerTech.com.
The great Ron Sackheim is up with us next. Thanks for listening, everyone. It's Fully Threaded.
This season, the House of Beacon is pleased to offer its latest collection of nice threads. The Beacon Machine Screw. Sleek and metallic, sturdy and sharp, the Beacon Machine Screw is a revolution in cutting-edge style and clean lines, offering a modern twist on classic proportions. As with all our collections, thread forming, thread cutting, high-load tapping, SEMs and sheet metal screws, the Beacon Machine Screw may also be complemented by a Rojas-compatible coat, an absolute must in Europe and all other discerning corners of the globe. Don't be the last member of your industry to use Beacon Machine Screws. Call 800-669-2658 to request a full catalogue of all our nice threads. Or have one of our highly polished representatives assist you in finding your unique size and style. And should you fail to find the piece that suits you perfectly, Beacon Fasteners will proudly tailor it to your exact specifications. Be the envy of all your competitors with stylish new Beacon Machine Screws. Beacon Fasteners and Components. Nice threads.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stellfast. Since 1976, Stellfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stellfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stellfast today through our website at www.stellfast.com and put us to work for you. Stellfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
Hi everybody, JR with JHP Fasteners here. It's always great hearing from our good friend Brian Musker on Fully Threaded, on the phone, or even in person on those rare occasions. You know that you're always getting the same Brian. He truly is an interesting person, and he's got that distinctive voice. There's one thing I noticed that's kind of funny, so I put together a little montage of our good friend. I think you'll hear what I mean. Okay?
Of this, okay? Your pocket, okay? That's near future, okay? Supply tools better, okay? Of this type, okay? Okay. Okay, right. Okay. There'll be a first for us, okay? And listen, okay? BlackBerry too, okay? We have got that sorted out, okay? Patter of feet, okay? Running across the floor. We will, okay?
It just couldn't be easier.
Of course. Okay?
Remember, Brian, we only tease you because we like you. It's when we stop teasing you, that's when you need to be concerned. In the meantime, this is JR from JHP Fasteners signing off for this week's FTR Comedy Break.
This is Tom Buttonbone with Technology Components Southwest. I'd like to congratulate Fully Threaded Radio for 50 great episodes.
It's episode 50 of Fully Threaded Radio. We're regarding this as a milestone of moderate significance, I guess you could say. But we wanted to do something extra special on the occasion, and we couldn't think of anything better than to invite industry legend Mr. Ron Sackheim back to the show. And I'm happy to say he graciously accepted our invitation, and he joins us now. Ron Sackheim, thank you for joining us again on Fully Threaded Radio.
Thank you for the honor of being on your program.
Well, we're so glad to have you with us again, Ron. And many people know you from your years, of course, at Heads and Threads, and then also as the founder and CEO of XL Screw. I think I told you when we set up this conversation that you were voted the favorite guest of 2011 by our all-star panel, and we received numerous comments after we published episode 25 back in May of 2011. So, folks, if you're new to Fully Threaded or you missed that episode, by all means, go back to episode number 25, and you can hear some background about Ron Sackheim and some of the stories of his early career and so forth. And we're going to cover a little bit of new ground today on this episode. That's all right with you, right, Ron?
Absolutely. And thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we had you on originally when the Heads and Threads story was still pretty fresh. Do you have any thoughts or comments on that whole situation now that it's been a year and some months later?
Actually, with Heads and Threads going, which I would suspect initially that there's going to be was less inventory available because Heads and Threads was a major player in the, at one point the largest importer in the country, and there's a little bit of science and knowledge. People know that nature abhors the vacuum, and if there's less inventory available, there'll be opportunities for other people to start another importing company. And I know that in the last 5 years, a couple other people have started, and I don't know the answer to the question is Heads and Threads inventory levels before they had all their financial problems were covered by the other importers that started up and the ones that were still in existence, like XL, and have they raised their inventory levels to take care of the whole country's needs. And that would be an interesting number, but it would be very hard to obtain. And I would imagine that there are certain items or categories that there may not be enough supply now, but everybody knows from the use of computers what are the A, B, and C items, and people should have increased their inventory levels of the A and B items, and the C maybe a little bit, and so that they're taking care of the country's needs. Because the widgets are still being made. Unfortunately, during the recession, in the fastener industry, the old line was the economy slows down. Fastener industry gets pneumonia, and
okay.
And but the fastener industry still, it always has been, is a bellwether industry. Again, going back to the guy making widgets, the more if he has demand for more units to sell, he's going to need to have more manufactured and need more screws to put those widgets together. And of course, the reverse is true. When less widgets being sold, then he's buying less fasteners, and then an importer has to react. But importers will never be able to react like a domestic manufacturer. Domestic manufacturer can just stop running machines. The importer has bought stuff 6-9 months ahead of time, and they can't do much about, they got product they ordered, and they basically have to take it from the overseas suppliers, and unfortunately, if the economy slows down, the importers have too much inventory, and then the price war starts, and nobody benefits. But going back to your question, I think until Heads and Threads inventory is fully replaced, and by now it should have been, but I would guess 6 to 9 months after Heads finally gone, there were worse shortages on some levels of most products.
Well, you mentioned something about a price war, and you hear talk about a price war now and then going on in today's market. What do you expect would happen as the result of a price war, say if another major importer went away? How would that impact things, do you think?
I think it'd be a serious, not a drastic, serious problem for the OEMs, because it's as simple as a 1/4-inch nut. If another importer who is supplying
5-10% of the fastener market, and it's gone. Because you can't just turn a key and suddenly open your the back door of your warehouse and have trucks pulling in with truckload after truckload of 1/4-inch nuts. It just doesn't work that way. You got to order it, and you got lead time for the factory to make it, and then you got a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks of shipping time from Asia to the United States, and then you have to get it to the right warehouse in the United States, and things just don't happen overnight, and they never will.
Well, after an initial period of stabilization, I mean, I guess really the thrust of the question was, if there was another shakeout in the market, what would it really say about what's happening? I mean, does it speak to the whole model? Is distribution itself changing, or maybe would another competitor kind of come in and fill the gap? I mean, what do you see?
I think another competitor would come in to fill the gap. I mean, that's actually been going on for, I can say, 25 years or more, where the large master distributors, Fastener would be a perfect example, because, of course, they're giants. They're the giant of the fastener industry. Fasten on these products, they can eat up everything that's available, and if they can't find it, then that's a problem. And on the other hand, Fastenal has the financial ability to buy larger quantities of speculation, and their margins are unbelievable. I've been following their stock since the 1970s, and all it does is keeps going up and splits and going up and splits. But the price war will happen and always happen, but more based on how the economy is doing. And I think employers have learned there's no point to run scared when there's a recession. It's no fun to live through it, but there's nothing's going to go wrong with the bolt and under screw. It's not like a fashion or a certain color or anything like that, where somebody wants some reds and somebody wants some blue color. That's not the issue. And all you have is carrying costs to carry that extra inventory. And with interest rates basically at zero, that's not the rate for prime is more than that, but they're very low rates, and the fashion industry has been very lucky having the low interest rates available during the recession. The recession, plural.
Well, the effects of the recession and the price wars that might be going on have something to do with the margins. And if the margins are getting narrower, my question would be, could you see any kind of a force that would make the margins come back to what they were, or at least approach what they used to be? Or are those kinds of margins gone forever?
I think they're pretty much gone forever, and the price wars that I lived through shouldn't happen, because most of the importers now are privately held companies, and it's the public companies. Head and Shoulders is the best example. When they demand a certain rate of return from every company they own, and if a company owns a conglomerate owns 10 different companies, one of those being Head and Threads, and Head's return on investment is the worst of the 10, then that goes on for years. At some point, the conglomerate can say, I'm going to get out of the bolt nut business and going to get into something else. And you can take our money where we can make higher profits. But since most of them are private, those people should not have to be giving stuff away, because again, I go back, the interest rates are so low, you can afford to carry inventory for an extra few months. That's the worst thing that happens in a recession, is you may have inventory that should last you for 120 days and suddenly it's lasting you 180 days. But that will come as the economy, business cycle is always there and always will be there, and just wait for the better times. And you can cut back on your buying and wait for the better times and then buy more.
Do you still keep in contact with a lot of people in the fastener industry who keep you abreast of what's going on?
Yeah, I do. People have told me that this year that things have got better, or started last year, I guess, got better, and then things are slowing down again now. And I have many friends in the industry, and And I can tell you that, and this most is the camaraderie I had with the customers and the employees, and life goes on, and we all are doing different things now.
Well, you should come out to Vegas in October.
That would be. I bet you're right. I bet you're right on that one. I would. That's a terrible fun, but I would enjoy doing that. It was a great city to have a lot of fun in.
Well, we're going to be doing that pretty soon. Now, speaking of cities to have a lot of fun in, Brian, I know you and the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey have been really glued to the TV set lately, watching everything happening in London, and that kind of is a good segue point because there's a pretty monumental part of your life that we didn't talk about in episode 25, and I was amazed to hear this, that back in 1984, you were involved in the Olympics, and why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you for bringing that up. That's one of the highlights of my life after marriage and birth of our 3 daughters and birth of our grandchildren. But in 1984 Olympics, which were held in Los Angeles, that was the 23rd Olympiad, 23rd time they had the Olympics in the modern era. There was a torch run like there is every Olympics, whether it's winter or summer. The flame is lit in Sparta, Greece, by the old-fashioned way of the Boy Scouts rubbing 2 sticks together in dry paper or dry leaves.
Is that right?
Start a flame, and they then light a miner's lamp. And in 1984, they put that miner's lamp aboard a United Airlines flight and flew it to New York. You wouldn't be able to put a flame on their plane
Right.
anymore.
I can imagine that now.
But the torch run from New York to Los Angeles started with Jesse Owens' grandchild and Jim Thorpe's grandchild running from New York City, where there was a ceremony to begin the torch run, and then the AT&T, I should go back. I was in charge of the 1984 torch run, and AT&T sent out their athletic employees for a week at a time to run the segments, which there were no contributors for. To run with a torch in 1984, you had to make a donation to Children's Cause, and we chose Special Olympics. And for a contribution, you got to run one segment, and the segment was a kilometer, which is 5/8 of a mile. The day of the torch run, they had given us uniforms to wear. We met at Soldiers Field, and they were dropped off along the route, and I ran near Dixie Highway in the far southern suburbs of Chicago. They were showing us how to light the torch and how to turn it off, and then they said we could take it home. At that point, I never knew that we'd get the torch. I always loved the Olympics and was never a great athlete, but the Olympics always fascinated me. But when they said you could take it home, there was just excitement to know. And they explained to us the reason we can take it home. The symbol of the Olympics is not the torch, which I thought would be passed on from one. I would give it to you, and Brian, you give it to Eric.
Right.
But the symbol of Olympics is the flame.
Yeah.
And at the end of the torch run, that cauldron in the whole city in L.A. was lit by Rafer Johnson. So going back to June of 1984, I started to run with the torch. My torch was lit by the runner behind me, and I started to move the torch. There were TV trucks, there was sleeper vehicles, coach vehicles, because the AT&T employees would move about 18 hours a day and sleep 6. And they went through about 1,000 towns and cities throughout the United States, reaching to reach LA. But I think it was about 102 days. And so going back to me, and I started to run with a torch, and it's not heavy, but it's just bulky to run with it, because normally you pump your arms when you're whether walking or running. And
right.
This, you got a flame going, and you don't want to get too close to your head. You hold it up, and you're proud, and
you're terrified of the flame going out.
Right. Yes, and they do have a backup miner's lamp, in one of the vehicles, just for exactly that reason. It's a perpetual flame from Sparta to, in this case, Los Angeles.
Now, did your mom tell you not to run with scissors when you were little?
Right.
It goes against everything you've ever been taught.
Right. So
To my left was an AT&T employee. He says, "Ron, slow down, because 5/8 of a mile is about 5 blocks."
No, you got to milk it.
You got to milk it. He said, "You will not get. You can walk it if you want, because they didn't care. But jog slowly. You may get 5 minutes of fame, but you'll never get 15 minutes of fame." So so now to my right was a Secret Service agent, and not guarding Ron Sackheim, but again guarding the flame, not the torch, but guarding the flame. And there was also policemen on the 3-wheel motorcycles, and there's a whole procession of vehicles, and lots of people, of course, applauding the person who was carrying the torch running along the route. And so a woman came off the curb to touch my T-shirt, and one of the policemen on 3-wheel motorcycle pushed her back onto the sidewalk. I thought no threat at all, but that was before 9/11. But no one was going to do anything to ruin the wonderful occasion.
Oh.
I ran my segment, my kilometer, and lit the torch of the runner ahead of me, which was happened to be used from Myers Candy. And I then turned off my torch, and there I was with my wife and 2 or 3 daughters, which were born then, and took the torch, turned it off, and went home, and very excited, and used to keep the torch in my office at XL, and it's one of the prized possessions of my life. There's no value put on having that torch. There were only 3,700 people who ran with the torch, and the torch run raised over $11 million for children's charities.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Just in 1984?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot.
And just as a kind of a postscript, in the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, Coca-Cola was in charge, and they had different rules. Coca-Cola was looking for community heroes and family heroes, and I sent a letter to nominate my very close friend since kindergarten, and now we were both in our 60s. Or, no, at that time, sorry, we'd be both within about our 50s. And John had been on kidney dialysis since early college. He lost one, I think, in high school, and then one in his early 20s, his other kidney. And at that point, no one know how long you can live with a dialysis machine.
Right.
So I wrote to Coca-Cola and nominated John's daughter, who had donated her kidney to her father. And there was a match, and everything worked well. And that certainly is a family hero. And so for the Atlanta Olympics, I was proud that I was able to nominate one of the torch carriers.
Well, you have been sort of caught up with the Olympics then. So did you spend lots and lots of time watching it on TV till late at night?
Yes, I did. I became a Olympic addict. OA, Olympics Anonymous.
Right. Yeah. Right. Thinking, oh God, this has to end sometime because I'm never going to last 2 weeks of being up till 11 o'clock at night.
I mean, there were some obscure sports which everybody makes fun of, and I don't blame. I mean, I don't know where they came up with some of these sports, but they're there. And you said you were in London. I'm sure you had a very good time.
London's a great, very exciting city, actually.
You weren't in London for this one. You were just watching it on TV.
Well, I watched TV.
I've been,
I actually got an email from Jay Mont of American Imperial Screw out in New York.
Oh.
And, we were talking. I was just asking him something about, I think it was about the FDI survey. And he says, yeah, I'll do it in just a second. I just got off the plane from London. I was at the Olympics. Took the whole family. That's what happens when you succeed in life. You get to carry torches, go to London.
Right. I guess the people got around okay. I mean, I know there were no incidents, but I had forgotten that when London was named the city for the 2012 Olympics, which would be about 6-7 years ago, the day after that, there were bombings in London.
Right. Yep.
Thank goodness it went off without incident this time.
That's correct, and I thought the British were very clever and loved the opening ceremonies and seeing Queen Elizabeth's parachute.
I don't think Liz really did the parachute. I don't imagine her in a parachute too much, but
I'm just amazed they got the Queen to do. I mean, obviously that was somebody else dressed up as her.
Right.
But I think it was she has a sense of humor after all.
Right. She didn't look like she had too much of a sense of humor when they were actually going through the opening ceremonies. It looked like she was eating a lemon, actually. She was
Someone said
south face.
Yeah, I know she was frowning the whole time.
Yeah.
And someone said that she's never supposed to smile in public.
I don't think that's quite right. I mean,
I don't think it is right either.
I lived in the Empire a while, and she used to smile occasionally.
Right. And she has the famous wave now that everybody else has picked up.
Right.
By the way, what the listeners may not know that there were some special events because Obama and Romney were going to fly to London for a one-on-one competition, and they were going to compete in 3 different games. One was called a POLL vault, pole vault.
Right.
Actually, there's 4 different activities. Then there's the negative ad toss, and the pass the buck relay. There's a few more. And they were going to have synchronized fundraising, and also the ever popular 50-meter flip flop.
Yes.
But unfortunately, both men said they just wouldn't make it. But they had people ready to present those views of these 2 men in these wonderful athletic traditions to the world. It didn't come off, but this is all part of it was going to be in the planning.
Yeah, well, you were mentioning all these obscure events that have been added, and I didn't really watch the Olympics this year, but by any chance has cornholing been added to the Olympic roster? Because that would have been a good one for the president, you know?
Yes, right.
Maybe you would have got a chuckle out of the Queen, too.
Right.
Well, what'd you make of this guy, Bolt? He was a big hero. Fastener people ought to be pretty thrilled about that. We had a guy, after our own hearts, and he was winning all this stuff. He set a new world record.
Yeah, but he should be president of a fastener company, that's for sure. Couldn't have a more appropriate name. And the debate, not the name, but is he the world's best athlete or is he the world's fastest athlete?
We'll just go with fastest. It's hard to know.
The argument is the people who do the decathlon, which are 10 events.
Right.
I talked about it as the world's the best athlete, whoever wins that. And I said it was Rayford Johnson, who was a decathlon athlete, who lit the cauldron in L.A. after I had carried it for Friday to a mile. But it was the Olympics are great, and you get a lot with young people to get to know each other and realize that the governments may hate each other, but people are people, and when you're on the athletic field, you're just another athlete. It's not whether your government is communist, socialist, free enterprise like the United States. You're just another athlete to do your best.
That's a very positive message.
And want to thank you for the opportunity to talk to you again, and be happy to do it in the future.
Do we have to be done now?
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you all about technology and communications and distribution.
All right, go ahead.
We don't have to.
Yeah. Well, I do know that people have finally gotten rid of their phone booths and putting in a roll of quarters for communications. They only use phone booths when you want to go in and spin around and come out as Superman.
So you're on top of things.
Right.
Right.
Well, great story, and I can completely understand why that was a very momentous event in your life. I think anybody would regard it that way. So let me ask you this. So you said you took the torch home. I didn't quite understand that part of the story. When you took this torch home, was it still lit, or did you just have kind of a holder?
No, they had the fuel was a butane, like a butane lighter. Those people who remember what cigarettes are.
Oh, yes.
Not the funny ones, but the ones that kill you.
Right. They all do.
So there was a butane fluid, and once you put a match, you turn the valve on, and then the gas would start to flow, and then you tilt my torch toward the runner behind me, and my torch, the flame starts, and the runner behind me turns his off, and I ran my segment and turned mine off,
and just took it home and just and he threw away the canister that the butane was in, and so the torch would never work again.
Got it.
Now, by the torches, every Olympiad, winter or summer, are all different. It's not the torch I carry is a different design than the ones that were carried of the Olympics ever since.
So you're allowed to sort of sneak home and light it to see what it looks like when you're not running?
Well, not if I throw away the butane's gone.
But I mean, before you threw away the butane canister.
I don't think I ever thought about lighting it, but I don't think I ever did.
What if you wanted to light a smoke off it?
Yeah.
That would be okay.
Right. Okay.
Smooth.
And you have that with the good cigar and.
Exactly. Should have brought a nice Cohiba with you.
Right.
Speaking of Cohibas, I'm sure you're doing whatever you do to enjoy life, but I have to go back to some of the questions that we had sent in to us for people to ask, and one of them was that we got several people ask, well, just how the heck are you doing? How you feeling these days, Ron? What are you up to?
Okay, I'm enjoying life. I'm doing okay. When you have an illness where there is no cure, and which Parkinson's unfortunately is one of them, there's two things you can do. You can bury your head in the sand and never get out of bed, or you can go out and enjoy life and do as much as you can. I mean, there's the old joke, now that I have Parkinson's, and the doctor said, you have any problems? I said, yes, doctor, I can't climb up Mount Everest anymore. The doctor said, did you climb before? And the answer was no. Or doctor, I can't dance anymore. Did you ever dance before? No. It's awesome. It's the same theme in different verse. And, but I try to actually make fun of the disease, and I use a cane sometimes. I use a walker. Sometimes I use a chair. Sometimes, but I go to classes at Northwestern, adult education classes. We live right next door to Ravinia Park, which is in Highland Park, a suburb of Chicago, where the Chicago Symphony Orchestra plays, and popular concerts. We got trained here the last 2 nights, and
it's fabulous.
It's absolutely mob scene.
Yeah.
We have grandkids in Minneapolis. We go up to see them,
making it to any Cubs games out at Wrigley.
Yeah, I'm trying to not talk about that. But I'm a avid Cubs fan, and my therapist thinks I'm certifiably crazy to go to Cub games this year. The kids say they suck, and then they really, they really are bad, and it's going to be a couple of years until Theo FC turns it around. You got to go based on track record. His track record, Theo's track record at Boston Red Sox was phenomenal, and we'll see what he can do for the Cubs. But Epstein started with a much better team when he joined the Red Sox than he's starting with the Cubs.
Right. Well, if you've been a Cubs fan for any amount of time, and I know you have, and probably a bunch of our listeners have been, I know I am, we've been in constant building mode. So I guess you got to keep that perspective, though, Ron, because otherwise you would have no business being a Cubs fan.
All right. By the way, there's 1,001 jokes about the Cubs. One I heard most recently was a very pious man prays every day to God, and finally he's 95 years old, said, God, I don't have much longer to live. Can you tell me before I die, will I see the Cubs in a World Series? And God thinks for a minute, and God says, not in my lifetime.
Wow, you really are down on the Cubs.
That's a good one. I hadn't heard that one before.
Parkinson's, as I make fun of it, I tell people my cane makes me able, and I know it's just silly fun, but it's just try to poke fun of the disease. When I hold my cane up in the air, I say that's raising cane. And what do you call a group of old men all standing on top of a hill with the canes? They're called Canaanites. And this disease is not fun, but not all life is fun either. And do the best you can with it. There's some very good medication out there, and the frustration thing is it's been about 210 years since Parkinson's was named by Colonel Parkinson's, a doctor and military man in London, about 210 years ago, and he observed 6 people with tremors and named the disease after himself because no one had ever written about the disease in a serious manner. But after all the money's been thrown at it, and thank God for Michael J. Fox, if anybody ever has a serious illness, you're fortunate if you have a well-known person like Michael J. Fox, because he's raised hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for Parkinson's research.
Right.
And the former owner of Intel donated a huge money. He has Parkinson's. Donated a huge amount of money to Parkinson's, and other well-known people have sent money, and hopefully we'll find a cure.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, you got a great attitude about things, Ron, and I got to tell you, again, listening to the reactions that we had from episode 25 when you were on the show, I mean, it was just an outpouring. People universally had good things to say about you. They wonder about you. I know you keep in contact with a few people, but there's so many that remember you and that wish you well. And, gee, I know they're going to be tuning into this episode as well, and we sure do appreciate you joining us again.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to you guys again. I would like to meet both of you, and if I have a caregiver and with me for lunch someday, I would love to do it.
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah, okay, mate.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Great.
Hey, we've been talking to Mr. Ron Sackheim. It's just been fantastic having you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Okay, mate. Thanks.
Get ready for a 50 megaton conclusion to this one, folks. Oh, wait. Make that 35 megaton. It's fully threaded.
FastenersClearinghouse.com. Search and source from over 500,000 line items, or just a mouse click away and available at no charge. When the need arises, you won't find a better place to locate hard-to-find fastener inventory. It's where you need to be.
This is Joe Truckee of Cal Fasteners, and Fasteners Clearinghouse works for us.
This is Robert Wanzer, and Fasteners Clearinghouse works for American Imperial.
This is Andy Pels from ScrewCrew.com, and FCH works for the fastener industry.
Join the sourcing network now and show your inventory to a whole new market. Turn slow movers into cash. List up to 10,000 line items. Show them to distributors only or to the world. FastenersClearinghouse.com. It's where you need to be.
Volt Industrial Plastics is the source for all your high-quality plastic fastener needs, and customer service is their #1 priority. With almost 1 million fasteners in stock and same-day shipping on stock items, Volt Industrial Plastics carries inventory so you don't have to. Volt manufactures everything in-house from over 125 different materials, and they're proud to say 100% of their products are American-made. And of course, custom tooling and in-house bagging is available. Contact Volt online at www.voltplastics.com. Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners.
Hi, this is Hugh Hewitt for the Injured Marine Semper Fi Fund, www.semperfifund.org. Over the past 7 years, twice a year, the wonderful people who operate the Semper Fi Fund and many amazing Marines who have been the beneficiaries of the charities that have supported the Semper Fi Fund, including many thousands of individual donors, have come into my radio studio to tell their amazing stories of serving their country, of being wounded, and how the Semper Fi Fund has helped them make that transition back to recovery. Unfortunately, Bethesda and Walter Reed are full again. again. More and more men and women are coming back from the war injured, sometimes awfully so. We need the Semper Fi Fund to be there for these Marines and those soldiers, sailors, and airmen who served alongside of them. Please consider a gift to the Semper Fi Fund. Very low overhead, extraordinary capacity to get money where it needs to get in a hurry, and great management, including some of the senior Marines who've ever served under the flag. When you're looking for something to do that will make an impact, please check out the Semper Fi Fund. That's www.semperfifund.org, www.semperfifund.org.
Talk radio for the fastener industry. It's not really all that bad for the most part. Brian and Eric, Fully Threaded Radio.
This is Mike Wren with Brighton Best International. Congratulations, Eric and Brian, on 50 episodes of Fully Threaded Radio. Keep up the great work.
Brian and Eric, your counter-cyclical fastener guys, back with you.
I don't know if I like being called a counter-cyclical guy. Okay?
Don't blame me. It's Holden's fault.
Right, okay. Who am I to criticize Holden?
Well, it was great to have Ron Sackheim back with us again. I know a lot of people are tuning in just to hear that interview. His first appearance on Fully Threaded, of course, was voted our best segment of 2011, and man, I think this one's going to be in the running for 2012.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy to talk to, really, and his attitude is sort of inspiring because he sort of, he says, you can either wake up in the morning and be crushed by your problems, or you can work out how to try and live without them.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to do, clearly, but he tries, okay? And usually very successfully.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that you hear universally whenever you talk to people who know or knew Ron. And, once again, it was great of him to join us for this interview. I've got some word from another person that a lot of people frequently wonder about out there in the industry, and that's Mr. Andy Pells.
Oh, wow, okay.
Of course, of ScrewCrew.com. We were talking a couple of days ago as we were getting the cut-in that he did for the show together. And, the big question on everybody's mind is, are you going to be in Vegas this year? Or is there going to be some situation shrouded in mystery again? And, of course, he couldn't be 100% committal, but he did say that he's very likely to be there this year. I'm not sure if it's the specter of old Rusty Bolt being there or not, but he said he's very likely to be there. So, everybody, that's the best I've got for you as of right now.
Yes, of course, we'll be looking forward to seeing him there this year, because I think last year he was telling us that he was handing out refreshments on Porteous's private jet.
That's right.
Only we don't know if Porteous has a private jet, okay?
Yeah, that was hilarious. All part of the fun of the first 50 episodes of Fully Threaded Radio, folks, and we're looking forward to the next 50, and we hope that you'll be along with us for the ride. And let's thank our guests on today's episode, and they were, again, Mr. Ron Sackheim, Stealthfast President, Simmi. From the USA Fastener Group, Mike Weaver joined Mike McNulty on the Fastener News Report. Looking forward to seeing some more of those Beer Cam Fridays, Mike. Our sponsors on today's show were Stealthfast. For service you deserve and people you trust, it's Stealthfast. And Beacon Fasteners and Components. Beacon Fasteners, nice threads. Volt Industrial Plastics. Fastenal. And Fastener Technology International Magazine.
Now, if we were measuring our episodes in years, 50th would be a golden anniversary, wouldn't it?
True. Yeah, which would tie into the article that we wrote about Fasteners Clearinghouse back in the early days. I think it was called Lost Gold Found.
Right, I was thinking of that very article, actually. It was one of the first, I think it was our first article. It was in Distributor's Link, wasn't it?
Right.
And it was about trying to look at your surplus in a different way. And, that was early stuff.
Yeah, when we first got the idea of FCH together, I remember Charlene Roberts, who was then with QSN, commented that all of this stuff sitting on the shelves that nobody's really aware of, nobody knows how to buy it. It's like lost gold found. And that was kind of the origin of that article. And for people who are interested in that, you can get a PDF copy of it. If you go on the fastenersclearinghouse.com webpage, on the news page, scroll all the way down, darn near the bottom, there's a link to that story, and it appeared in Distributors Link magazine.
Right.
I don't know, Bri. I feel too young to be reminiscing like this. I mean, we're getting kind of sentimental, don't you think?
Yeah. So we need to stop instantly, okay? We look to the future, not back.
Right. So now are you saying that you don't buy into this whole 35 is the new 50?
I think that's marvelous. Okay, I love that.
Well, I think a lot of our listeners would agree with you, Bri.
Speaking of 35, on our last episode, we were discussing the great achievement of landing Curiosity on Mars. Well, there's another birthday that's just been celebrated, and it's Voyager 2, which has been in space now for 35 years. This thing has traveled 9 billion miles. It's still sending transmissions back to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and now it's so far away it's passing out of our solar system. In fact, they're measuring the radiation on it to try and see if it's changing. So it's Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. Voyager 1 passes its 35th year next month. So that's another amazing thing.
Now, has it really been out there for 50 years and they're just saying it's been 35? Or?
No, this is 35 years. Imagine it has tape recorders on board. That's how it stores its transmissions to send back, because that's all they really had working 35 years ago. And they expect it to go through to 2025.
Now, what episode of Fully Threaded are we going to be at then?
Oh, it'll be way into the big numbers. Okay.
Well, thanks for keeping us up to date on everything that's happening out there on space, Bri. We can always count on you. There was nothing vexing about that at all.
No, it was not. It's great.
And speaking of great achievements, why don't we put episode 50 in the can?
We should do that. See you next time, everyone.
Yes, we will. For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Thanks for listening, everybody, and talk to you next time.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fastener's Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.
Hey, this is Andy Pels from ScrewCrew.com, and I wanted to congratulate Eric and Brian on their 50th wedding. God, I can't talk. I'm just going to keep going. And I wanted to congratulate Eric and Brian on their 50th wedding anniversary. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, this is Andy Pels from ScrewCrew.com. I wanted to congratulate Eric and Brian on their 50th wedding anniversary. Hi, this is... clear my throat. Hi, this is Andy Pels from ScrewCrew.com. I wanted to congratulate Eric and Brian for 50 episodes of dragging all of us kicking and screaming into the digital age. Hi, this is Andy Pels from ScrewCrew.com. I wanted to thank Eric and Brian for 50 great episodes of mostly fastener-related talk and information of Fully Threaded Radio. How's that?
You rock, man.